Candyman. 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 No, I can't. I can't do it. Can't do it. I'm too chicken shit, guys. How's it going, guys? My name is Zack, and I love discussing cinema and all things entertainment. And as always, I really do appreciate you guys clicking on the thumbnail today. I hope you enjoy your stay, because as evidenced by my cowardice in saying the name of this movie 5 times in a row, we're looking at Candyman. Yes, this is the reboot/spiritual sequel to the 1992 slasher film of the same name, and it stars the likes of Yahya, Abdul, Mateen II, Tiana Paris, and Colman Domingo, and it's written and directed by Nia DaCosta, with Jordan Peele's name also attached to the screenplay, as well as a producer. I mean, with this talent attached, you really can't go wrong with this one, can you? In the present day, a decade after the last of the Cabrini Towers were torn down, Anthony and his partner move into a loft in the now gentrified Cabrini, but a chance encounter with an old-timer exposes Anthony to the true story behind the Candyman. Anxious to use these macabre details in his studio as fresh material for his paintings, he unknowingly opens a door to a complex past, all that unravels his own sanity and unleashes a terrifying wave of violence. Ooh, Lord almighty, guys, where do I even begin with this one? Better yet, where do I even begin to praise Candyman? Seriously, there was so much to love about this thing, especially as a huge horror movie junkie. I was very pleased with this film and how it turned out. But you guys all ready for a dumb Zack moment? I have actually never seen the original Candyman from 1992. I know, but from what I've gathered, a lot of people still appear to really enjoy it, and they tend to turn it on every Halloween season, all while taking a sunrise and sprinkling it with dew. Yeah, I know this movie has nothing to do with Willy Wonka, so just clearing the air if you guys have never seen the original Candyman either. Now, the one thing I've noticed people really praising about that original Candyman isn't necessarily the slasher or the horror element, but it's all how the themes of the movie really cater to the time. And again, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong if you want to, but I think that certainly fits what this iteration was going for as well. There were points where this script and its social commentary was really challenging its audience, all to really look at our society and how we treat each other as artists and as humanitarians. And even though this script has 3 different voices attached, most notably director Nia DaCosta, I think they all meld together to create one brilliant voice. This honestly may be one of my favorite screenplays I've sat through all year long. I'm serious, I loved this. Because not only does this script challenge its audience with its haunting messages, but it can also be gut-bustingly funny, which may or may not have something to do with Jordan Peele's involvement. Now, a lot of this comedy comes from Nathan Stewart Jarrett, who plays Tiana Paris' brother in this film. There were things that this character Troy says that I legitimately was not expecting. But you know what, guys? They all work given the context of this story. And at the same time, I felt like the movie and his character especially could sometimes be poking fun at the horror tropes. For example, why do the heroes always go to investigate the dark corridors? Honestly, it was so amazing and it had me on the floor. And keeping on the topic of this cast, guys, they are phenomenal, utterly across the board. There is not one weak link here. Colman Domingo gets some more juicy character work to follow up on his amazing turn in Defy Bloods. Tiana Paris was in this movie. She was probably my favorite aspect of WandaVision in hindsight, and she was absolutely fantastic in this film as well. She brings so much energy and infectious charisma to the proceedings, and I cannot wait to see her return as Monica Rambeau in the Marvels next year. But let's face it, guys, in the acting department, and I mean this with no disrespect to any of the other cast members involved, but this was really the Yahya Abdul Mateen show. He was so good in this movie that the Academy is just gonna ignore him for any consideration for Best Actor, but then all of us cinephiles will go up into a humongous uproar, all because he's not on their list, and it'll be so big that it'll actually force the Academy to reconsider. But joking aside, guys, I clearly loved this performance. This honestly may have been my favorite performance from an actor all year long. Mateen is so real in this movie. I never felt like he was an actor. I can literally and figuratively feel the pain and the strife that he's going through. This is some gigantic emotional turmoil this character has to endure for 90 minutes, and Yahya Abdul Mateen was up for the task. He was outstanding. Now, perhaps my biggest praise for Candyman, and I'm so excited to report this, Nia DaCosta's direction was absolutely stupendous, which honestly makes me even more hopeful that The Marvels is gonna be a really, really kick-ass superhero film. She's in the director's chair for that one as well. Deservedly so. I really love how the camera work and the cinematography really accentuates the scares. I love how DaCosta was so effortlessly able to blend the social commentaries of her script with all different kinds of horror. And that's another thing. I really do think that Candyman is gonna cater to a lot of different horror fans. For example, there are some who will really appreciate the psychological scares of this film. DaCosta really does leave a lot of these kills up to the audience's interpretation, which is something I really, really admire as an audience member. Like, I know what happens. These characters are getting brutally slaughtered before my eyes, but DaCosta is letting me visualize it in my brain myself, aside from just showing me what happens. Which, just sends shivers up and down my spine, guys. I love it. There will also be some horror fans who appreciate the jump scares in this movie, that haunted house-like experience, and I sure as hell did. I love how DaCosta was able to weave in some of this really brilliant cinematography along with an incredible score, but she's using all these elements perfectly to create some really unsettling jump scares. There were moments I was absolutely squeamish to look in any reflections that she makes in these shots. Anytime a mirror pops up, DaCosta and these editors have tons of fun with that reflection element. And speaking of squeamish, guys, this bodily horror. There are images involving torn fingernails and torn Achilles tendons, which, it's just absolutely disgusting. There are certain kills in this movie and certain images that are never gonna leave my mind. One of these kills appears to be a long take towards the halfway point. Not to spoil anything that happens in said scene, but it is absolutely brutal, and the sound design element put into that kill is just perfect. Technically speaking, Candyman is one of the best horror films of 2021, if not the very best. It's gonna be really difficult for any new scary flick to top this, especially as we get into the spooky season. My only nitpick for this movie, and I'm really, really digging for stuff to constructively critique at this point, but at 90 minutes, I feel like the movie was a little bit too short. Now, this isn't a bad thing at all. This movie's pacing is absolutely excellent. It goes boom, 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 boom. It is absolutely non-stop thrills, and it all had me riveted from start to finish. But constructively speaking, I really do think that these filmmakers could have let some of these big deaths really marinate a little bit more. Besides that, guys, I really did love this film. I can't wait to watch it again, especially to relive all of those amazing, horrific elements again and again, along with a finale that is quite the emotional roller coaster, to say the least. I'm gonna give Candyman an A. This one has my utmost recommendation for you guys to check out as soon as you possibly can. Even almost 30 years after the original film came out, the idea of Candyman still holds some relevance in today's troubled society. And I think Nia DaCosta and this cast do an incredible job of taking us along for the ride. This is all just one guy's opinion though. What did you guys think of Candyman? Do you agree with me? Do you not? And I'm also curious, which Candyman film is your guys' favorite? What's your preference? As always, guys, I love creating this content and discussing cinema and all things entertainment with you guys. So feel free to leave some thoughts down in the comments. Go ahead and make some noise and let's have some fun. And hey, if this is your first time visiting the channel today, thank you all so very much for clicking on the video. And do consider hitting that subscribe button down below as hard as you possibly can, because it's totally free. This is also really helpful for me to get this content out there, as is hitting that thumbs up button on your way out. That would be absolutely amazing, you guys. And as per, guys, stay tuned for more exciting content hitting this channel very soon. I'm going to be reviewing season 1 of iCarly, that Paramount Plus exclusive, and stay tuned for my first Bond review in that playlist for Casino Royale and that build up to No Time to Die. Also, don't you think I forgot about Shang-Chi opening weekend. Oh, it's next week! But you guys are the best. Again, thank you all so very much for your support up to this point. And with all that being said, back talk, commence.